This is one part of a 5-part series. At the end will be a link so you can watch the rest of the series, as well as a link to my calendar to schedule a free 30-minute consultation where I'll personally be able to go over a review to see what your options are. You don't have to be rich to get started, just start with where you are today. There's a misconception out there that you have to have a large sum of funds in order to get started with your own banking system, but that's not true at all. We can start today by using the monthly disposable income that you might currently be putting towards savings or putting towards trying to get out of debt. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so that way you'll be notified when I post new videos just like this every week. Most people don't realize that the average American makes over $2 million in his or her lifetime, but only lives on about 23 cents of every dollar earned. The rest of this goes to paying taxes, interest, and what we have left over, which is about 3%, goes to savings. Ever heard anybody say, no matter how much money I make, it seems like I just can't get ahead? Well, it's kind of hard when we look at the fact that 40% of the money that most Americans bring in go right back out the door in taxes. Now, that's not just income tax, but that's property tax, sales tax, gas tax, utility tax, cell phone tax. It seems like there's a tax on almost everything that we do, right? Then we've got another 35% going out just to pay interest on things that we don't even own yet. Think of all the interest that you've wasted in your lifetime on credit cards, car payments, student loans, mortgages, leaving that 23 cents out of every dollar for you to live your lifestyle. A 30-year mortgage for a $200,000 home at an interest rate between 4.5% and 5.5% interest will cost you over $164,000 to over $208,000 plus in just interest. That's almost 50% or half of what you're spending is only interest payments. But the banks have us brainwashed and focused to look at the annual percentage rate over 30 years, not the real actual cost of the interest over time of that 30 years. Now, most financial advisors focus on the smallest two slices of the pie right here. The 3% that people have left over to save and that 23 cents on every dollar we have left over for our lifestyle. They tell us how they can get such a better return in the stock market than the guy or gal down the street, or like some of the so-called gurus that program you to have a scarcity mindset. Live on beans and rice, cut up your credit cards, don't buy anything, stop wasting money on coffee, and in 30 years you'll be all set. Well, how's that working for most people? The average American retires with only $60,000 in retirement savings, and over half of those people will run out of money before they die. It's hard for most people to see 30 years down the road, so when you fully understand how infinite family banking can literally change your entire life in only 2 to 5 years, and where you'll be in 7 to 8 years, you're going to want to share this automated system with everybody that you know. If you've ever struggled with a budget or working with a financial plan in the past, I want to let you know that it's okay and we've all been there. Spending is emotional, and when we see our savings grow, we actually understand the concept that saving is actually delayed spending. It's not like when you're on a budget. I know for some people this is challenging to talk about because they're embarrassed by their debts or lack of savings. If that's you, don't be. Your numbers are not who you are, and your debt does not define you. I know what it's like to feel on top of the world and then in only 4 short years be at the bottom of the toilet by listening to the advice of some of those TV gurus. Again, you can hear my story in the link below. If we can reduce the amount of money that you're paying in interest and taxes now or in the future, then you'll have more money for your lifestyle and more to save for retirement without spending any more money than what's in your budget right now. Now, I'm not going to read off all these statistics because we pretty much know how broke and overextended most Americans are today. Imagine if you didn't have to make any monthly payments today for your house, your car, your credit cards, or student loans. What would you be able to do with all of that extra money? What would your leisure time be spent doing? Would you travel? Take more time off work? How would that enable you to help and give back to your community, your family, your church, or nonprofit of choice? Would that change your definition of retirement if you were debt-free today? When you think about that, I want you to see a clear picture of that in your mind. Now, would that make your life just a little bit better, or would that make it a whole lot better? So why aren't you living like that right now? Well, life kind of gets in the way sometimes, right? Most kids in their 20s aren't focused on retirement. They're focused on having fun. To a 22-year-old, 66 is 3 of their lifetimes away. So it's understandable that we can put that off. Maybe we're just getting married or starting in the workforce. Maybe we've got those diaper bills, childcare expenses, braces as kids get older. Maybe the kids are into sports or after-school activities. We need to upgrade to a minivan, or maybe we get a house at some point. And now that we have a mortgage, we have other maintenance and property costs like taxes that didn't come with that little apartment, right? Or maybe you want to help your kids for college or go on a vacation. Maybe somewhere along this timeline of your life you go through a divorce. Maybe you have to start all over. Maybe your spouse's parents have to move in due to a serious health condition and can't live alone any longer. God forbid a child has medical needs or is in a severe accident. We keep saying someday we'll have a real retirement plan. Maybe the economy takes a dive like it did when the real estate bubble burst. Who would have thought 9/11 would happen and shake our financial world the way that it did? Maybe trade negotiations or oil prices cause you to be laid off, or maybe you have to change careers due to technology or other changes in the workforce. Maybe you have a midlife crisis and feel the need to recapture your youth when you realize that your life might be half over. Maybe it's getting that plastic surgery or shiny new sports car, boat, or motorcycle. Maybe you feel that after raising the kids, you deserve to treat yourself to that vacation. Remodel that old kitchen after sacrificing for all those years. Before you know it, 20 or 30 years passes by and you realize that someday never came, and you find yourself, like many others, looking for someone to guide you along the path. If you're one of those people that wish someone would have told you about this 20 or 25 years ago, you're not alone. In 1999, before my 30th birthday, I bought a big house out in the country that my soon-to-be wife and I could raise a family. I had emergency savings set aside to cover over 4 months of our bills, a duplex that was making passive income, and we were both putting money into our 401k retirement accounts. An offer was in place from a national drugstore for more than twice what I paid for the duplex. But nobody knew for over a year after my tenants moved out if they were going to get the final zoning permit they needed to make this a go. Now imagine today that your income went down, you had 2 mortgage payments, and then you got slammed with unexpected medical bills. I'll never forget that burning sour feeling in my stomach and the tension in my neck and shoulders that Tuesday morning, staring at a near empty checkbook next to a stack of credit card bills. I called the office to see if there was any opportunity to make any extra money that week. When my boss answered, he could tell that I had no clue what was going on and that I needed to turn on the news. A plane had just crashed in one of the Twin Towers. Business slowed down and I was forced to make a career change, along with another huge pay cut. Looking back, I'm sure you all remember what was going on in the real estate market in the early 2000s, right? Back then, I thought that using the equity in our home was a great way to leverage debt. In reality, all that did was enable us to slide faster down that slippery slope of slavery, indebtedness to the bank, where they would take our home, that big down payment, all the money we put in it, if the market changed and we had to sell, which of course it did. The last thing I ever dreamed of doing in my life was take a loan for my 401k. You can imagine why, right? After the dot-com bust, now 9/11, even if I wanted to take a loan on my 401k, I'd just be paying penalties, taxes, and locking in our losses. Focus on the Family said that 75% of couples argue over money 2 or more times a week. It's safe to say that I know that money was the most frequent reason we argued, and the most contributing reason for our soon-to-come divorce. Forced me into bankruptcy, selling off my jet skis, furniture, appliances, and living out of a Pontiac Sunfire convertible while taking turns sleeping on different friends' couches night after night. How did I go from the top of the world to the bottom of the toilet in less than 4 short years? Fast forward 17 years later, and not only am I financially secure, but I'm happily married to a beautiful woman and the father of an amazing son that I couldn't be more proud of. Now I get to help people learn from my pain by showing that there's a better way. Click the link below to see exactly how this program works and to schedule a 100% free, no obligation planning session for you, your business, or nonprofit. Click the link in the description below. There you'll be able to have access to my calendar and be able to have a free 30-minute consultation with me where I'll personally look at your situation and see how the infinite banking concept can benefit you reach all of your financial goals and dreams. By clicking the links on the screen, you'll be able to watch either the full webinar or the next video in this series. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course ring the bell so that way you'll be notified once I upload new videos just like this one every week. Thanks, God bless, and have a great day.